For some reason, the cone filter just melted. Zero issues with the car.
Yeah.
Other than developing, like I said, a new oil leak. All in all, it held up well, innit? Out of practice.
Problem is, not pissing everyone off with no exhaust. It's loud.
Yeah, so
and to bleed the system, what, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, so feels like a long time since we've done this. Right, so last video you seen was the Blighton Park video where the E36 finally got put through its paces and lasted a full day, which we was very surprised about, weren't we? The car done very well, to be honest. Tyres held up, diff held up, drive shafts held up. Gearbox is iffy.
Didn't give you any issues though, did it?
No, it crunched second and fifth every now and again.
Didn't on my laps.
Biting point on the clutch is a little bit high, and we also developed a new leak as well. We've got a new steering rack on there, another purple tag steering rack. Should we show them what else has been done? So we got a new alley radiator, new fan with an electronic fan controller.
More importantly, a shroud for the fan.
Yeah, because I've nearly took my fingers off once. I don't know if you've...
I'm pretty sure I've come close.
Yeah, and there's been a few unsuspecting victims that have nearly lost digits with the fan that was on there previously. Yeah. So it's got a shroud on it now. Electronic fan controller. Since this has been installed, we've not had the bogging issues, the idling issues, cutting out, anything like that.
Seems to have fixed a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I do think it was just overheating. So basically, the way Matt MP set it is when it's idling, so like you stopped in traffic or whatnot, the fan will kick in to keep it cool. We also went back to the OEM airbox because on the last day at Oulton Park, for some reason the cone filter just melted. So yeah, we've gone back to that, and with them subtle little changes, we've had zero issues with the car.
Yeah.
Other than developing, like I said, a new oil leak, which I feel like for these old E36s, that's kind of normal, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
People always slander them and say, oh, they always leak, and I always defend them, but they do leak. Yeah. So basically, from what we can see, it's leaking from the rear main seal, potentially from somewhere around the sump, but we're pretty sure it's the rear main seal from what we can see.
Yeah.
That's the wettest part. And he said it's a fairly easy job. Like on these, he said about an hour and a half labour. We've also got a spare gearbox that we picked up. So the gearbox that's in it now is the Get Rag gearbox, which is supposedly...
Oh, it's got a Get Rag in it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Which is supposedly the better upgraded gearbox, I think. But we just picked up an OEM ZF.
I thought, right, okay.
318i.
I didn't know that.
So the car's a bit of a Frankenstein car, so I don't know whether what the gearbox that I've bought is actually going to work or not.
Should do.
So when we get the car down to MPE before the next track day, which is booked in May, obviously he's going to do the seal at a minimum so we're not leaking oil. And if the gearbox fits, he's going to do gearbox and clutch.
Yeah.
If not, he'll put it back together and then we'll get the right gearbox.
I need to keep this gearbox, bro. I like the sounds it makes.
Yeah, the whine is nice, and it sounds race car, but at the same time, I'd rather have a functional race car than a sounding nice race car. But other than that, yeah, there's not much happened with the car other than track days.
Tyres held up well, didn't they?
Yeah, tyres held up really well.
Self-installed coilovers, didn't give us any issues.
No. That's one thing that we could look at though, just in the stiffness on the coilovers, because we found that in some of the corners, the front end was letting go a little bit. That could be down to heat. We spoke to Mazat Top Tyres and he was saying, obviously we was at Blighton Park and it's quite a relentless track for cornering. It was a hot day, so he's saying maybe 6 to 10 laps, hot laps, is more than enough for the tyres if you're not doing anything to cool them down. Yeah. Which obviously we wasn't, we were just sending it. But yeah, all in all, held up well in it. Yeah. But I think that's enough about the 36. We need to address the elephant in the room.
So, it's been a while, but K-Swap Civic has moved. Not far, but it's moved. Yeah, so, if you don't follow us on Instagram, suggest you follow us on Instagram. Been posting little Civic just because I've not had enough in the meantime to post a full YouTube video, so I've just been posting little updates. But if you do follow us, you'll have seen that the car's now running, starts on the key, and it's pretty much ready to not be on the drive. Get gaps. So yeah, the last time we filmed it, we got cranking, but had no spark and no fuel, which is obviously two main elements you need to start a car. Took me a while to figure that out. Did a bit of research online. Everything was pointing towards crank sensor. So if the crank sensor's not picking up a signal, it won't send sparks to the spark plugs. But I was also receiving no pulse from the injectors, which points to an immobilizer issue. I thought that I'd uploaded a base map in K Manager. It turns out I'd uploaded it to the software on the laptop, but not to the ECU itself. So I was basically trying to crank it on an immobilized ECU the whole time. But yeah, managed to find a base file. It's just for an EP3, so it's for a 2 litre. Definitely not safe to run on. I think it's safe to run on, but not drive on in it. So yeah, then managed to obviously get the car started. And that is basically where we're up to now. The only thing I've done since then is put everything back together. I've not had to buy anything else. Now we're using the stock manifold. Everything's happy. Everything's plugged in. Got all the cooling system back together. And yeah, that's where we're up to now. So as you can see, it's pretty much complete.
It's actually looking tidy under here for once, bro.
It's not looking too bad.
Tidy, yeah. I wouldn't say tidy.
Yeah, we still got like loose fuel reg, loose air tick. Like it's tidy to our standards, isn't it?
So a couple of things I want to ask you.
Go on.
Why is your cold air intake facing to the back of the engine bay?
So that's for now. So I originally had the cold intake routed
facing downwards, didn't you?
Yeah, but now whereas the previous manifold, the outlet was like that straight in it.
Yeah.
Whereas this one points up.
And you've ended up using that spacer as well, haven't you? Know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So basically I couldn't make it work down there, but I am going to modify this so it kind of sits in this section behind the headlight.
Right.
Then it's safe from water getting through the bumper, and it's also getting as cold.
Probably better then, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's probably one of the last things I'm going to do. It's not important. I can run it like that if I want. Yeah. It's just not optimal for performance. My main priorities now are getting all these lines that you can see hanging around sorted out. But as you see it, it'll run. This week I've been trying to get the coolant system ready to bleed up for today. We was going to bleed up the cooling system today and get it all ready. I started filling up the radiator. Obviously it's not pressurised, I'm just filling it up, so it's not really going to show you any leaks that might appear once the car's running. However, the thermostat housing did start leaking quite a lot straight away.
Where's the thermostat housing?
With this manifold, you can't really see it. It's just underneath this manifold here. It's where the bottom radiator hose goes to, if you can see that. So that was leaking quite badly. I managed to fix where it was leaking from, but now it's leaking from a load of other places. One thing I've learned from this build is I never really took this saying serious before, but I'm going to tell you now, after doing this myself, buy cheap, buy twice. Like everything I bought cheap I've had to replace on this engine. So that's a cheap thermostat housing. I might have had the same problems with a proper one, but now I'm going to have to find out. Thermostat housing was leaking, so I tightened that up. Basically, that's all I needed to do. Put it back on. It's still leaking now, but I managed to fill the coolant up enough to get past that level. That's at the very bottom end of the engine, so that's going to be one of the first points to leak. So we actually managed to fill the system quite a lot, and I found that we're leaking quite badly over this side of the engine. So this is the upper coolant housing. It's where the top hose goes to. I've obviously capped this one off here. That goes to the throttle body. Don't want to run any coolant through the throttle body just because high intake temperatures. So cap that off, and after that I thought, yeah, everything's capped off, there should be no leaks. However, as you can see at the back of the engine bay, I've got no heater matrix. I'm actually running the shifter cables through the heater matrix location. So I had to remove a hard line that ran to the heaters, but what I didn't realise is there's an outlet that's part of this upper coolant housing that also runs to the heaters. It should have a hose outlet in there, but it doesn't, and it's also not threaded, so it meant blanking it off is going to be pretty difficult. I think you can get something called a freeze plug, but I don't really want to mess with anything like that. It's not guaranteed to be leak proof. So what I've settled with now is that I'm going to have to buy a new upper coolant housing that's already adapted to delete your heater core. I'm going to be going and getting one of them at some point today, fitting it, and then trying again to get the system leak proof, and then hopefully I can bleed it up. As of right now, I can only run the engine for like, maximum 30 seconds, because there's no coolant in there, but I want to be able to run it for long enough to work out any other leaks, maybe oil leaks, or work out anything that might need fixing, but I can't do that without having the coolant system bled up.
Do you think you're going to make the next track day?
I think I will, you know.
Do you think you make it on track, or are you coming for the drive out?
I won't be on track.
No. So are you aiming to make it just to take the car on a drive?
Just to take some pictures after the track day and say, yeah, we made it. But yeah, no, so, yeah, the engine's basically done. We obviously need to go and get maps. That I have no issue with. I could probably get that done way before the track day. But then there's a lot of other things to take care of on the car. For example, we're still on stop brakes. It's still on drum brakes at the back, for example. Then suspension's pretty much standard, just got some coilovers. And also, I want to baffle the something before I take it on track, ideally.
Yeah.
Might not get round to it, but yeah, the car's, I wouldn't say a long way off being track ready, but I definitely don't want to rush it and get it on track.
Yeah, there's no point in rushing.
Yeah. Obviously got an exhaust for it off a K-swapped Integra DC2. Got the midsection on, just waiting for the back box to be modified. The hangers need changing slightly. I'll display some pictures on screen maybe. The midsection doesn't quite mount up on the flanges. It's like a couple of degrees out in it. So,
so that's going to have to be modified.
That's something that can be modified once the car's done. I can run the car, base map the car without that on.
Or you can just put some mold grips on like we did last time, bro. How long did we run your exhaust last time with just mold grips?
I don't even know if that's safe to say on YouTube, bro, but yeah, it lasted a good few thousand miles, didn't it?
Didn't you do a track day with mold grips on your
exhaust? No. I sorted it out before the track day. But yeah, that's where we're up to. I also need to find somewhere to mount that because the stock position, there's no space. But as you can see, it's just tidying things up and getting a few last bits together.
I can't wait to get him on track, you know. He's starting it. Look at you, he's itching. He's itching.
Your car's going to be shivering in its boots.
My car might not start afterwards. This is just mid-pipe.
Yeah, just mid-pipe.
You've got no back box on, so it's going to be loud.
Still not idling correctly.
Maybe.
We'll work it out.
That's loud, that, you know.
It is loud, isn't it? I'm hoping this back box does a hell of a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, we're in trouble, innit?
You're in trouble. You're already in trouble when you have to race the E36 anyway.
Oh, come off it.
But yeah, I'd say that's update complete, innit? So that's our cars updated. In the last video, you seen Moz Motors with his MX-5.
Bro, that makes our cars look not ratchet.
Yeah. We had to do some dodgy stuff to get that car like on track and actually get some laps in.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go and quickly catch up with him, see where he's up to, because he's also tinkering and trying to get his car ready for another track day. So let's
taking
jump
a
out.
Civic out of 36.
Don't ask silly questions, bro. I think I've put on weight since the last track day, bro. Send it. Feels like it's moving, you know. Driving around in dingers all the time, bro. Don't get to do that often.
Summer's here.
I know, vibes are just better in the sun, innit? Out of practice. So arrived at Moz Motors HQ. What have you done today? Where are we up to? I was trying to remember what you said you was doing. So you was distant pads.
Yeah.
Started on this side.
Yeah.
And what else did you say?
We've got oil catch cans to fit. Yeah.
You're gonna have to paint the oil catch can monster.
What else have we got? We got brake bleed to do.
Yeah.
We had a belt squeal on the front of it coming from one of the auxiliary belts. Sorted that out.
What was wrong with it?
It looked like it had come loose a bit.
Yeah.
The alternator.
Right. Okay. So you didn't have to replace the belt?
No.
Oof. I'm in V8 that.
And then got an oil and filter service to do on it and gearbox oil change.
Full works.
Yeah.
Big job.
Getting the full
You sure you
works.
qualified for this, bro?
I don't know. We'll find out, won't we, on the next track day?
So unfortunately, the Mods Motor section of the video was cut short due to a technical difficulty with the mic, so we didn't manage to record much, but we just spent most of the time laughing at Leon.
Right, so Mods Motor segment is...
Come to an end.
What do you say?
Come to an end.
It's come to an end for us, but
Not for me.
not for Mods Motor.
You know what, cafe?
What have you got left to do now? You've
Everything, because you've just been stood here talking.
We were supposed to be helping him bleed the race, but we didn't. We're going. So, shout him. Yeah, we're on now. We need to pick up the part for your car now. Yeah, we'll probably film when we get back and try and get it. So we're going to try and install it today.
Yeah, it's 4 bolts. So, as you can see by the attire, it's cold. It's a lot later on in the day. We just spent most of the day driving to Birmingham for some overnight K-swap parts.
Traffic as well. Bro.
Yeah, it was mental on the way back. But this is what we've just picked up. So that's going to replace what we was talking about earlier in the video. Issues that I'm thinking I'm going to have straight away is there's 2 versions of these. So you get this one, which is the straight outlet for the radiator hose, and you get the one that's like that. And my original one's like that, so we might just have to modify the radiator hose.
You've done a lot of modifying with this car, haven't you?
Yeah, as you can see, with PTFE tape this fitting here up, and this one. And also the thermostat housing's leaking as well, so probably going to whip that off and do the same on that. But we're going to start with taking the original one of these off now. Got a radiator hose to remove first. God, it's got a lot of water in there, man. Working on wet floor now. Put this bit of Liam here. So it's these 3 sensors. Get that out of the way. It doesn't really move out of the way, does it really? This one here, that one, and there'll be 2 more underneath, and there should just be 12 mils. And crack them off. Gonna crack them off.
Oh, they're tight. That's the only thing that you've tightened on the car, bro.
I've not touched this yet.
Alright. That makes sense.
Yeah, so the top 2 are studs. This one's an actual bolt that's coming out. And because the other one, because this one's a lot more slim, them studs aren't going to be, they're going to be too long for the nut to catch, if you know what I mean. I'll show you when it's off anyway. So now what I need to do is, we need to get 2 nuts. This is going to go on like this. Yeah, see how the thread ends before it gets to there. So if I put a nut on there, now it's not going to tighten against it, so we'll have to replace them with the bolts supplied. Yeah, so we've just removed this upper coolant housing. And as I was saying, 2 of them are regular bolts, and the other 2 was a thread with a nut on the end. Now, what I've just done off camera is remove that from the engine because it's not going to work with the new application. So now, I'm just going to show you how I did that. So basically, find some nuts of the same thread, screw one on, screw the other one on, get them close to each other. Then what you're going to need to do is tighten them against each other as much as you can. Right, so that's pretty tight against it. So now when I loosen this bolt, instead of loosening off the thread because that's backed up against it, it's going to bring the whole stud out with it. So now if I loosen it, just crack the actual thread out. I'm surprised that went so well, you know. I'm not, because we did it again off camera, didn't we? But I'm surprised it went so well the first time.
Yeah.
Realistically, I could have had this running months ago.
Is that why you can't drive?
It's got a lot more passages on it. I'm hoping all that's for the cooling, for the heating in the car. But either way, we're going to use the original gasket. It's not ideal, but I don't have one right now. So we're just going to see if that seals up. Obviously, all the bolt holes line up, so it should, in theory, work how the original one works, innit?
Send it.
It stinks, man.
Smells good.
Thought we'd had enough of fuel leaks. That's tight.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Should be alright, shouldn't it?
Yeah, hang that on. Said it was leaking from there.
What I'm thinking now is, even though the thermostat's leaking, I managed to fill it up enough yesterday to get that to leak. So maybe do that again to see if that leaks and leave the thermostat for another day.
Okay.
Sound plan.
Jeez, steady hands.
But it was wind yesterday when I was trying to do it, you know. It's blowing everywhere. So we filled the system, still got a slight leak on the thermostat.
Which we knew about.
It's not leaking anywhere else, so I'm going to turn it on, build some system pressure, see if we can force it to leak from anywhere else.
Should I put the lid on or no?
No. I've got a feeling it's going to blast out the thermostat now though, you know. Only one wants to find out. What is going on?
Right, so what's changed? Oh, you've disconnected all them fucking things. You madman. What's them for?
Cam sensor, top dead sensor, just measures the time of the engine and stuff.
Big smoke from the back of the engine then, you know.
From the back?
Not bad though, bro, realistically. I know it's been a long day, but one issue ticked off. What was the other issues we had?
Turn it.
Huh?
Sit.
So is it just... Didn't you say it was leaking from one of the hoses? Is it the one down there on the
behind the
thermostat?
manifold, that's why I think the thermostat's leaking.
Right.
Oh, cat bear's getting wet, man.
Bro, it's just tap water. Why don't you just let it go on the floor?
True. My family needs water to drink.
Are you taking the mick out of underprivileged family? You can't leave that in, mate.
That's premium water, bro. It's been through a K24.
Yeah, right. Scrap that.
Most of it did go on the floor anyway.
Yeah, so...
See what Honda can do.
Close out the video, bro. Where are we at?
Like Jesus turned water to wine. Honda turns water to coolant.
Right. Close us out, man. Where are we
Well,
at?
yeah, I don't know.
No, come on.
No, we need to bleed the system. That smell scared me a bit. But either way, we need to bleed the system. Obviously not with water, or what I do with coolant. Got coolant. The problem is not pissing everyone off with no exhaust. It's loud.
Yeah, so
And to bleed the system, what, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, so yeah, so
Yeah.
we need to figure out the hunting issue.
That's a minor. It'll be an idle air control valve. It happens when they've been sat for a while. So driving that'll fix it.
Right, okay. So we need to get the exhaust from Matt once the hangers have been relocated. And then
I'm probably going to take this manifold off one more time.
Why?
Just because it's going to give me a better inkling of looking at... I'm going to be able to see the thermostat better.
Right, okay, yeah.
And also we need to replace some Jubilee clips on that hose.
Yeah.
So it's going to make sense. Waiting for some bits from the PC... That's minor. I can drive without that, do you know what I mean?
What's that?
Just a PCV system.
Right.
So I was going to delete it. Just for anyone doing the swap, I was going to delete the PCV system. I got told if you delete it and add a catch can or just a filter, if you're on track 24/7 hammering it, it's fine. But any sort of daily driving, the oil won't get hot enough, and the breather's job is to let the oil breathe in it. If the oil's not breathing, it's collecting moisture, and then you don't want moisture in your oil in it. So I'm gonna put the PCV system back on.
But overall successful day.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it's a wrap then.
Yeah, it's just a case of getting the exhaust so we don't piss everyone off and then bleeding the coolant, and then should be good to go.
Find out how good your mechanic skills really are and see whether the car actually moves.
I think it's a win. It's running, isn't it?
Yeah. Say no more. On to the next one.
Yeah.